watching AYV television.
Of the president.
To the deafening voices of
All right, good evening and a hearty welcome. The political temperature in Sierra Leone is rising once again. The main opposition party, the All People's Congress, finds itself at a defining crossroads. Close to a dozen aspirants, both seasoned figures and ambitious newcomers, are jostling for the converted role of flag bearer. But in the end, only one man will carry the party's banner into the 2028 elections. Yet, within this contest, a storm of constitutional and political controversy has erupted. At its center stands former Vice President Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana. Once expelled from the party and dismissed from office in a saga that split national opinion, he is now back, readmitted in 2024 and demanding his right to stand. Now, his challenge is directed at a clause in the APC's 2021 constitution which requires any flag-bearer aspirant to have maintained at least 5 consecutive years as a paid-up member. By their internal law, Samsumanas may not contest any election until 2029. But he insists his case is exceptional. He argues that while Sierra Leone's Supreme Court endorsed his removal in 2015, the ECOWAS Court later decided it unlawful. Now, for him, the national constitution guaranteeing the right to seek public office must override the party's eternal law. He has now petitioned the Political Parties Regulation Commission, the PPRC, to rule in his favor. For the APC, and indeed for Sierra Leone's democracy, the stakes could not be higher. Now, the PPRC's verdict, awaited with bated breath, may not only decide the fate of one man's political ambition, it could also redefine the balance between party power and constitutional freedoms in the West African nation Sierra Leone. Now, the questions are, should a party's eternal constitution supersede the nation's supreme law? And can democracy flourish if the very structures of political parties are themselves restrictive? And what do these episodes reveal about the state of intra-party democracy in Sierra Leone in the 21st century? You're watching AYV on Sunday.
AYV on Sunday.
Hello and welcome. Please allow us to take you on an everlasting journey of hard-hitting journalism. No spin, no filter, just the truth.
On AYV on Sunday, we ask the questions that many are afraid to ask and to test the level of sincerity and integrity of the people who have the power to shape our world.
From the bureaucratically minded corridors of power and the seats of the president,
to the deafening voices of the people that actually matter.
What you should know is that ours are not just mere conversations.
They are accountability personified, live, unfiltered, and in your face.
A live audience of 10 persons will also be included in each edition of the program on first come, first included basis.
Hello and welcome. I am Phoebian Sweel.
And I am Victor Jones.
And this is AYV on Sunday.
All right, thank you very much indeed for joining us tonight. My name is Victor Jones. Welcome to AYV on Sunday. You're watching us on our local channel 33, international channel 399 on DSTV, and you're also listening to us on frequency modulation 101.7 on AYV radio. On the panel this evening, I'm joined by Alphonsus Bani. He is Executive Secretary, Human Rights Defenders Network in Sierra Leone. Also, Sidi Yaya Tunis. He is Publicity Secretary of the main opposition, APC party. Barrister Zakaria Denke, representative of Chief Samsumana. And also, in our studio too, is Director of Communications at the Political Party Registration Commission, PPRC, Lucien Momo. Now, viewer and listener are highly encouraged indeed to participate in the program by dropping a comment or two or a question on the comment section of our Facebook page. It's always AYV News. Good evening, gentlemen. It's a pleasure having you. Indeed, I'll just start with you, CD. The discussion here this evening behooves the entirety of the APC. I know it's an elite decision that came from the executive. Of course, it was unanimous to have revised your constitution, which is standing utmost criticism at the moment. Generally, for APC members, particularly those in the Executive Council, what are your views around this whole saga between Samsumana and the party at the moment?
It is confusing for us, and we see a lot of misrepresentation around the facts surrounding this whole thing. I mean, initially it was, it had to do with letter written, whether in fact the letter was in time. And then now it's about illegality of our constitution, a constitution that has gone through all of the processes required by law for any political party constitution to go through. This constitution has gone through all of those processes, initially drafted by party members, taken to the PPRC for it to be published for general populace to have their rights to challenge and to have their rights to contribute or amend. It went through that process. So even where people say it has never been challenged, no, that is not true. It spent quite a deal of time at the PPRC. People challenged sections of it, chapters of it, omissions were made, additions were made, and then thereafter it was gazetted. And let us not also forget that this constitution was a court-mandated constitution. So even after the PPRC, we had to take the final product back to the high courts of this country. That is one aspect of it. The second aspect, it is this same constitution that took us to the general elections in 2023, wherein again, the law requires us to make rules for every internal elections. Rules were made. Again, those rules were sent to the PPRC. They were also challenged. There were additions and omissions made, and those rules were later gazetted, just as the Constitution. So they formed part of our election rules that took us to the internal elections. 17 people, 17 contested for the position of flag bearer under this Constitution in 2023. And they went through the democratic process of election, and one person emerged, through the elections by the national delegates, and that was Dr. Samura Kamara. So this constitution took us into the 2023 election. Now here we are, getting ready for our internal elections for the 2028 election as stipulated by the constitution of the APC. Now again, as required by the National Constitution and the PPRC Act, we have developed our rules. And because of the experiences we had leading into 2023, we made sure that our rules sent to PPRC to govern our internal election are strictly in adherence to our Constitution. so that we will not experience delays, we will not experience challenges, since this constitution had already gone through the necessary legal challenges that it should, as required by law. So all of these that we are now hearing about violation of national constitution, there is no provision whatsoever in our APC constitution that is in contravention with the national constitution, with any provision in the national constitution. It is in strict adherence to the national constitution, all of the provisions in it. I don't know exactly which sections of the national constitution, maybe during the course of our conversation here tonight, will be shown which section of the national constitution that the APC's constitution violates. And when it comes to that, maybe I'll throw light. But as far as we are concerned as the national executive, yes, there were issues. The party has readmitted Chief Samsumana, and we will encourage him. We look forward to him working with us in the party. But that is not to say that as per the law require us, we as a political party will not go by the mandate of our constitution when it comes to our internal democracies.
Let me hear from Barrister Denke, because this has to do with you directly. You're representing the man himself on the panel tonight. Where are you having problems, with the APC? Which area of the law? Is it an argument of the supremacy of the law, of the land against a law that governs a political party in Sierra Leone? Where does the problem lie?
Once again, thank you, AYV, for hosting us. Thank you, viewers. With respect to constitutional law, we are of the strong belief that the Constitution, the National Constitution, Sierra Leone Constitution, Act number 6 of 1991, reigns supreme. With respect to any other constitution, be it political parties or any other organizations, they are subsets of the National Constitution. I will refer you to section 171, subsection 15, if I may read. This constitution shall be the supreme law of Sierra Leone, and any other law found to be inconsistent with any provision of this constitution shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void and of no effect. So with respect to this provision, section 56B of the APC, article 56B of the APC 2022 constitution, it's dead on arrival, because this section has rendered it null and void. As far as we are concerned, 2023, Chief Samsumana paid his dues to contest. By then, he was a provisional member. His membership has not yet been concluded with respect to his reinstatement. It is a process that started under the 1995 Constitution. There are several consultations with the party for him to return. He submitted a letter requesting for his expulsion to be rescinded. The letter was acknowledged, and NAC held a meeting, and they approved his return with a letter delivered to him on the 10th of September 2020, stating that they have unanimously, without any abstention, approved his return, but subject to the approval of the NDC. That said, the court declared that very executive to be illegitimate, specifically the executive between 2017 and 2022. However, notwithstanding, we should be aware of the fact that Chief Samsumana came as an innocent man with legitimate expectation that he is dealing with a body that's supposed to have put themselves in position legitimately. He is of no knowledge that they assume that position illegitimately. They start the process, and after that letter was given to him, Subsequently, he paid his dues, his backlogs from 2016 to 2023, and he subsequently paid additional payments of his membership. He tenders those receipts, bank slip, and the party acknowledged and gave him their own receipt in acknowledgement of that payment. Non-member cannot pay a backlog fee or read neither a readmitted member. He will start as a new member, only a reinstated member. For argument's sake, let's say the process started with, it was flawed when it started. It was perfected as we go. The court directs that they held a national delegates conference, and they are directed for them to include the agenda for membership issues in the agenda for, as requested by the court. They failed to do that. They were held in contempt. Subsequently, the National Delegates Conference do approve and reinstate Samsumana and others who were expelled and either suspended through a resolution. Let me bring you back to this same illegitimate executive that was declared by the court between the specific period that I earlier stated. They appointed drafters to review the 1995 Constitution and draft a new Constitution. This same executive. And that draft was subsequently adopted by a legitimate body, which is NAC, in the National Delegates Conference. At the same time, under the 1995 Constitution, when that reinstatement was done, for us, by accepting the backlog payment, by their conduct itself, they have acknowledged that the expulsion has been reinstated, and it is effectively a member restored with all his rights from where he left. It is clear, as far as we are concerned.
I'll come to Alfonso in a while. But, Sidi, you took this man's money.
No, I mean, let me explain. So, because people have to...
That's why the controversy lies,
No,
it seems.
people have to understand the timeline. People have to understand the timelines and what really happened. So, in January 2020, the party was on its way to a national delegates conference when a group called NRM took us to court. We were injuncted, and the national delegates conference then was cancelled by the court after this party having spent billions, right? So what happened? Now he made reference to a letter given to Chief Samsumana in 2020. And in that letter, they did say, subject to the approval of the National Delegates Conference. There was a reason why the party did that, because the party knew that the only body that has the competent authority to readmit Chief Samsumana is the National Delegates Conference.
So the letter said subject
to the approval of the National Delegates Conference. Now, this is what happened. In between January 2020 to about September, October 2020, NRM withdrew its matter. But the same day, Alfred Peter Conte took us to court again. And Alfred Peter Conte's case, at some point, the court ruled that the executive was illegal, and they set up an interim body, the ITGC. Let us have this in mind. And the ITGC was set up. Not that the executive was disbanded by the court. The ITGC was set up to oversee the affairs of the party. But in any case, let us know that our constitution was still in existence, the 1995 Constitution, which clearly states that Chief Samsumana's approval is pending, readmission is pending the approval of the National Delegates Conference. So what did Chief Samsumana do? He knew that there was no delegates conference has taken place. He went and paid money to Alfred Peter Conte. Backlog. So who do you blame? The APC party or yourself? You knew, no, let me come. We have to get these facts out straight for people to understand. There was no National Delegates Conference. The letter you had stated that your admission was pending the approval of the National Delegates Conference. You knew the party was in court, and an interim body has been set up to oversee the affairs of the party at that time by the court, and then you went and paid money to this interim body. Now what happened? During the same cause, the judge ruled that that particular action by Alfred Peter Conte was wrong. He was even fined 50,000 new leons for that particular action. The judgments are there. The judge ruled that it was wrong. So he was even fined 50,000 new leons. So who do you blame in that case?
Are you saying that the APC had no knowledge of this money that
We
was
were
received?
not in charge. We were not in charge.
So it was the interim committee that was in charge, led by Peter,
Correct.
the very man who took this money.
Yes, led by Alfred Peter Conte. So it was in this process. So this idea that the APC accepted the backlog, and this idea that you paid money, even when you knew that the party had already written a letter to you stating that your readmission was pending the approval of the National Delegates Conference, which by constitution of the APC, not even NAC, which is the second highest decision-making body, not even the national executive, let alone an interim body that was set up by the court. The constitution was still in existence, by the way. So we have to bear that in mind. So in any case, in January 2023, in January 2023, when we went, in March 2022, when we went to adopt the constitution, the National Delegates Conference deliberated on this matter and we came back. The court ruled that we go back and deliberate on this. So in 2023, the National Delegates Conference ruled that Chief Samsumana and others who had left the party and who are expressing willingness to return be readmitted into the party, which we did. That is why
that was in what year?
In 2023, which is why his membership card has been since given to him, stating that particular time that that approval was made. Now, the fact here is, I have explained this aspect. What we are confused about and what we would want to know exactly is which part of the national constitution we as a party are in violation of. Because
so the reference is section 171(15).
The reference of section
the
reference of section 171 is only saying expressing.
No other law can contradict the national law.
But our party is not contradicting the national law.
Victor,
that is why I'm asking which section of the national constitution is our party.
Let me just a few seconds before I hear from them.
Firstly, for one to qualify to be a presidential candidate according to the national constitution, I will refer you to section 41 and 76. 76 is clear with respect to you have to, you do not have to have a criminal record. You must not have you must not have voluntarily assumed citizenship of a second country. You must be sane, etc. Section 41 is clear. You must belong to a political party. You must have attained the age of 40. You must be a Sierra Leonean, and you must qualify to be a member of parliament. With respect to the violation, specifically with respect to Article 56B, it is in variance with 41 and 76. The Constitution is clear, and 171(15) is instructive. And if I refer you to section 35(2), it reads, the internal organization of political party shall conform to democratic principles, and its aims and objectives, purposes and programs shall not contravene or be inconsistent with any provisions of this constitution. So it is specific and direct.
So
and
now you have the answer.
Okay, so
which sections that?
So let me
refer him also to Article 7 of the APC 2022 constitution for him to read it.
It almost seems as though we're having a constitutional brouhaha here.
No, we are not.
Hasn't the ABC made a
we
mistake?
are not. We are reading the constitution wrongly. Let me come in.
Okay.
Section 35(1) is very clear. 35(1) says political parties may be established to participate in shaping the political will of the people, to disseminate information or political ideas, social and economic programs of national character, and to sponsor candidates for presidential, parliamentary, and council elections. That is 35(1). 35(2) that he just read, this is what 35(2) stated. And pay attention to keywords in here. What 35(2) says, the internal organization of political parties shall conform to democratic principles, and its aims and objectives, the aims and objectives of the political party, the aims and objectives shall not contravene or be inconsistent with any provisions of the Constitution. Now, if you go to...
does this 5-year clause support democracy in any way?
Oh, of course. When the political party, when the Constitution talks about democratic principles here, it is talking about the processes you go through in making sure that the people participate in the elections of those who hold office.
In that same spirit, still, it would sound disenfranchising in a way.
It is not.
Don't you think so?
It is not. I am coming. Let's listen. Okay. Because even the national constitution gives rights to citizens of this country. Okay. But the national constitution is also restrictive as to office holders. It is. Because it knows. Let me come. So, 4. This is the national constitution, 35(4). No political party shall have as its leader a person who is not qualified to contest as a member of parliament. Now he quoted section, this is restrictive, by the way. Now he quoted 41. This is what 41 says. Chapter 41A, 41 says, no person shall be qualified for election as president. This is in reference to the position, the election of a president. Unless one is a citizen of Sierra Leone. Let's have this in mind. 2, has attained the age of 40, otherwise qualified to be elected a member of parliament. And then there is 42. What does section 42 say? Section 42 says presidential candidates shall be nominated by political parties. This is the sole resposibility. Yes. Did it say?
Well, just flag bearer, for example.
Exactly. Did he say? Did the Constitution say which process to go through to do the nomination? What the Constitution is concerned about? What the Constitution is concerned about is political parties nominating presidential candidates. Now, have we nominated a presidential candidate that is below 40 years?
You would have to elect a flag bearer.
Exactly.
That's the process.
So have we nominated? And the process is democratic.
So here's the thing. My question is, Sidi, what does disenfranchisement look to you? How does it look? How does it seem to you? Now, the reason why I'm asking this is because if you have a clause in your internal law that says no one can run for presidency in your party if they hadn't clocked 5 years, then the constitution of the country, the Inforo Domestica, is saying that no one should be deterred from holding these offices. Don't you think it's a conflict with the national law?
The constitution of the country did not say that.
Mr. Victor,
the constitution of the country did not say that. We are misinterpreting the constitution.
Your law sounds restrictive in a way.
It is not.
Don't you think so?
Okay, the constitution of Sierra Leone says no one can be president if you are not 40. How do you interpret
what
that?
does democratic principles sound to you?
How do you interpret that?
I would like to hear from my friend, so I just wanted us to conclude this for now, because I want him also to have a basis for his argument.
Let's get this straight. How do you interpret?
Are you saying Samsumana is not 40?
How do you interpret?
Are you saying Samsumana is not 40?
No. So have we presented any candidate that is not 40?
Victor,
We haven't.
Alfonso.
Have we presented
Let's have
any
a fair share
candidate
of
that
time.
is
We
not a
have two
citizen of
sessions.
Sierra Leone? We haven't.
I understand, but
Have
I'd
we
like to hear from
presented any
Alfonso. He's
candidate?
standing
Otherwise,
on a
it's
neutral
not
platform
qualified.
this
We
evening.
haven't. So how
Alfonso,
are we by
you've
law?
heard the argument from these two
May I
gentlemen.
respectfully respond to CDI?
A few seconds, please. I want to hear from Alfonso.
My question to him is Samsumana qualified to stand for president pursuant to Sierra Leone Constitution?
Samsumana is qualified to run for president. Yes, he is. But we have a responsibility.
So the buck stops
we
there.
have a responsibility as political party to also make our own laws.
Certainly.
The party made it
Certainly.
very
Right,
clear.
I'll come back to you on this very law.
You
I'll
have
come
the
back-
responsibility
Sidi,
to make rules, but those
then
rules
can please allow
have to
him.
be in conformity with Section
It is
76
in
and
conformity.
Please allow
Our
it.
responsibility, like I
56,
stated,
56B is
our
not.
responsibility,
It is
as I
not.
stated,
And it
is
is
go
dead on
through a
arrival.
nomination process that is democratic.
All right, now-
And our responsibility is to ensure that at the end of the day, we present a candidate that meets the requirements.
I'll come
of the
back to you on the
provisions of
spirit
Section
of this
41.
very law, this 5-year tenure. I'll come back to you on that. But let me just hear from Alfonso. I mean, you've heard these two politicians sort of, speak this evening. You've heard the differing arguments that they've put forward, in conflict with the law. And it almost seems as though these two laws, the national law and an internal law, are conflicting each other, which takes preeminence. I mean, ideally, for jurisprudence sake, you would say the national law. But let me hear from you. You've served for a while in this country. You've watched democracy grow from a particular level to where it is at the moment. What do you think is wrong in this argument?
Thank you very much. You see, the problem we have is, and I will not limit to the discussion to the APC party. I will bring the two major political parties because they have been in the governance system of this country, the APC and the SLPP. When these political parties, they organize their party constitution, their party dynamics, it is what they have at the party level they translate into national governance. What APC has previously in the 1995 party constitution is what they translated into national governance. That was why we witnessed the scenario where the former president dismissed Samsumana because their party is shaped in the way of election or by appointment. And so the position of the vice president was an appointed position. So at that time, the president can just dismiss you because he appointed you. But let us, I just want people to understand, let's look at first the issue of the expulsion, because that is where this whole discussion came on the issue of Samsumana. Let's look at when he was sent out, he was asked out of the party office, the APC, which was sometime in March 2015. It is also there in the party constitution of the APC that when you are aggrieved or when something has taken place within the party, you have the right to appeal. So when Samsumana was expelled out of the APC on the 6th, there is a 30 days window for him to appeal against that expulsion. And he did appeal the expulsion on the 26th of the same very March. His appeal was not heard. If my brother here is looking at interpretation of the Constitution, at that particular time, they never listened to the appeal of Samsumana. That was a breach by their own very Constitution itself. Okay. And there were also some suggestion that there was a resolution from the National Advisory Council, NAC, that suggested that Samsumana was supposed to be expelled. But there are information that suggests the contrary, that there had been no resolution to that effect. Even a letter from late Jago Stephen, that there had been no resolution to the effect suggesting that Samsumana is to be expelled from the APC party. So I'm bringing this because we need to understand the basis to where we are now, so that people understand the dynamics. I know there could be something that is far different from what we are discussing, from from the human rights perspective or from the civil society perspective relating to the 2018 election that led why these people, the APC party, still have grievances against the Samsumana as an individual because of what happened at that time in Kono district when he left Kwedu town and went to his village without making a proclamation. And except if he is trying to maybe trying to breach or not to accept, but I think from his own conscience, that has been the crux of the issue of Samsumana in this current time. But let me go further. You realize that there was no decision. So in other words, why the party itself created a problem for themselves within their own constitution, we also witnessed the controversies in our national constitution, because the provisions of the national constitution that the procedure to remove the president from office is the same procedure you use to remove the vice president from office. But what we saw is dismissal. The matter was taken to court. The Supreme Court, by interpretation, said the president was right. That was a judicial precedent. So tomorrow, Mada Bio can wake up in the morning and just dismiss Julia Jallo because it has now become a precedent. Julia Jallo will have no way to complain. It has now become the judicial precedent. That was a terrible error in this country. So these political parties are not doing justice to the people of this country because they are doing things that suit them, their own convenience, not the convenience of the general population. So let's come back to the post-expulsion.
And even later, after they had made that decision, the ECOWAS court ruled in favor.
Of course, I don't want them to go to the ECOWAS court because it is the same party. Because when they were in power, it is the same APC party that implemented the decision of the ECOWAS court on the case between Hali Wanza and the Sierra Leone government, the paying of the gunboats. Yes. They paid that amount of money. When Samsumana took the matter to the ECOWAS court and the decision came, they said they are not bound by the decision of the ECOWAS court. That was a laughable situation. I don't want to go into that because it was a complete disgrace to this country. So if you hone on one aspect and the decision of another area, you said you are not bound by it and they cannot compel you. And that was a misleading position by the government at that time. Let's take a look at the post-expulsion era. And I had them discussing the issue of payment or whatsoever. If you take the interim body, if the interim body was constituted outside the party, nobody coordinated that. But for the mere fact that there is an interim body representing the APC party, by their conduct, by action, everything represents the APC party as a party. Whether it is, as long as they are interim and it is recognized.
So in essence, you're saying it is the APC that collected these monies?
Of course, because it's an interim body. That's why they call them an interim body. So whatever agreement they go into contract, it is binding because it serves the purpose of the party. And so, whether it was expressed writtenly, an agreement in terms of bringing back Samsumana, but by their conduct, Samsumana offered a consideration by paying back his dues. And those dues and backlogs were accepted. So there is already a contract between the interim body and an individual member of the party. And that interim body is representing APC. It's not representing SLPP or any other group. It is an interim body for the All People's Congress Party, except Mr. Tunis is telling us that interim body does not represent APC. Then I will agree with him. But if the interim body represents APC party at that particular time, then I think there's some misleading arguments. I don't want to be late so that people that are out there will understand the scenario. At least let them get the gist. Because I could remember vividly, there was a time when this incident emanated. We went to Samsumana, even at the time when they said he ran to the U.S. Embassy when he was in his home. We went there. We engaged him. And what we discussed with him, what we sent out to the public, it was out to the public. What we discussed personally, that it is under privileged discussions. That one, still today, I still maintain that, and I will not disclose that. We give him that respect because he gave us that opportunity to engage him and discuss to understand what is going on between himself and the president at that time. And so, you witness the issues of party payment, backlogs, and whatsoever. So now, where Mr. Tunis is now bringing the issue, that because it was an interim body, whatever action, whatever emanates at that time of the interim body has no legal standing or no locus to receive money from Samsumana as backlog payment or whatsoever. The question we also need to ask the APC party or the interim body, was the money paid to an individual or to the account of the All People's Congress Party in a particular bank account? If it was in an account of the All People's Congress Party in a particular bank account, I see no other reason why Mr. Tunis will suggest the contrary.
So, Tunis, was the money paid to your account directly or just an individual?
No, we are missing the point. We are missing the point here. We are misrepresenting
Can I just try
the
to finish?
I'll come back to you.
No, we are missing the point here. This is a constitutional issue. And I did state here that, no, let me come.
You're making an argument for the candidacy of this man.
But
and that's why they're saying
exactly,
that he had to get paid.
No, but I did state here that he was not supposed to have paid money in the first place. He knew himself that the letter given to him did state.
Why wasn't the money rejected in the first place? Why wasn't it rejected?
We were not there to state. Why? Because this is in cohort. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
Let me make you clarifications.
What is
Before you make that clarification, yes, please finish up. Please.
What is important here is, I have insisted, as a political party, there is nowhere in our constitution wherein we have violated the national constitution. I insist on that. Eligibility clauses.
Even when you've said that the man is eligible to run.
Eligibility clauses for. We have the responsibility to go through the processes how we elect who is eligible to be presented as a candidate for president. That is the sole responsibility given to political parties. And eligibility clauses are found in any political party constitution. If you go to the SLPP constitution, it says not only do you have to be a member continuous for 5 years, you have to have attained the status of Grand Chief National Patron to be even eligible to contest for the presidency or for the position of flag bearer of the party.
Right.
So this idea that because Section 41, we have not presented any candidate that is below 41. We have nowhere in our constitution where it says we can present a candidate below 40 years. Nowhere in our constitution wherein we say you can run for flag bearer even if you are a dual citizen. No.
Alfonso, I'll ask this question now.
Where I was driving to is also that.
Just a minute, please.
The party gave a letter, a membership card to Samsumana.
When was that card issued?
In June
2025,
but the membership dates back in July 2023. So yes, the question is, Samsumana paid his membership backlog that covers the period 2016 to 2023. So is the party not in agreement with all the monies paid backlog from 2016 to 2023 by Samsumana?
No, because in 2016, Samsumana was still a member of C4C. So how can you go pay backlog? This is what I'm trying to point out. How can you go pay backlog when you were a member of another political
Well, let me just
party?
ask you this. Is it a law within the APC that a member should not hold dual, party membership?
It is the national law.
I mean, from your party.
It is a national law. You guys are talking here about constitutional supremacy, and now you want to bend that. It is a national law that no one should belong to two political parties.
Firstly, my question to CDI Tunis.
You can make your submission.
Yes, make your submission.
You know what?
Firstly, I would like to bring to his attention that the procedure and processes with respect to the appointment of the NAC investigating committee was flawed and contrary to the 1995 constitution. The expulsion of Samsumana since inception is flawed and wrong. If I take you to the 1995 APC constitution, the discipline of members, Article 8, 8111, it reads, discipline of party members shall be exercised by the respective executive committees or disciplinary committees of the party, depending on the level of which disciplinary measures is called for. Any member of the party who is alleged to have done any of the following shall be liable to be punished if found guilty by the appropriate executive committee. NAC investigating committee is not an executive committee. They assume powers that they don't have. Especially so if I refer you to the letter dated the 6th of March 2015 by Comrade Dr. General Stevie of blessed memory. It states that no resolution or any part on the agenda on the meeting held on the 13th of November 2014 that they discuss or appoint or pass any resolution to appoint a NAC investigating committee. The process of that very committee with respect to fair hearing, Samsumana was never given chance to be heard.
So here's a quote from section 35(4) of the same 1991 Constitution, saying that no political party should have a member or person who is also a member of another political party.
I'm coming to that.
No, with
respect to the expulsion, he was expelled on the 6th of March 2015.
But this is a constitutional provision.
I'm coming.
Okay.
And on the 26th, he appealed his decision. If I take you to the appeal section at page 6 of that constitution, it says any member aggrieved by a decision of any of the organs of the party in pursuance of Article 8 of this constitution shall have the right of appeal within 30 days of the decision to the immediate higher organ of the party in that successive order up to the National Delegate Conference, provided that the decision of the National Delegate Conference shall be final.
And he appealed. Did he?
Up till today, that appeal has never been heard. I'm coming. Now, if I take you to the sanction, with respect to the sanction, sanctions, Article 8.1.2.1 of the 1995 Constitution, sanctions may be imposed by the party as a disciplinary measure against any of its members, and the gravity of the punishment shall depend upon the seriousness and circumstances of each case. 2. Sanctions to be imposed may be in the form of expulsion, expulsion from the party, suspension, and so on and so forth. Now, 3 says, executive committee of each level of the party shall have the power to decide on any of the disciplinary measures. Again, any of its members are specified in subsection 2 that gives the punishments that should be
Sidi, you know,
the NAC is not part
to hear from Hussein, but let me just finish up with you guys.
Is wrong and it's dead on arrival.
I'll ask you this question.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Samsumana joins another party. The clear break will not apply because the expulsion in the first place was wrong and unlawful.
Sidi,
and he did not have a fair hearing, even with respect to the new constitution. He was not given the chance to be heard with respect to his appeal.
So, Sidi, from the arguments put forward this evening, I want to hear from Hussein, but let me just finish up with you guys over here. Not only did the party accept this man's subscription as a member, it also refused, you know, to hear this man's petition in the first place.
No, I think...
Now, the question I would like to ask you, is the APC having problem with upholding democracy in any way?
How can you say...
It's just a question.
No, it is not.
From all of the arguments that are being put forward this evening.
It is not. I have explained repeatedly. Let us stop skewing the argument here. We were brought here on a pretext that we have violated our constitution that we are using now. And I'm seated here after I've painfully explained the provision in the constitution that is in no contravention with the current 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone, and now they are taking me to payment, when I was not, when in fact I've also explained that indeed it was dishonest. Let me make it clear for that money to have even been paid, because he had a letter that was very, very, very clear. Clear. We have been. There are certain things. There are certain things. There are certain things.
Please,
let us be civil here. You made your point. I was quiet.
Can we allow
you made your point. I was quiet. So be quiet.
Be quiet. Yes.
No, listen. No, listen.
You said someone was dishonest. Whom are you referring to?
Listen. How would you pay? How would you pay money? How would you pay? I stated here that in fact a letter was issued that clearly stated, and you knew even by constitutional provision, how you come back. How can you pay money for backlogs when you are a member of another political party, which is even against the national constitution? That is one aspect of it. You were a member of C4C up to 2018. So how can you pay backlog for 2016? That is one. And secondly, because I am restrained to respond to most of the things stated here, especially from Mr. Gbani and even my comrade, because we have been referred to PPRC. We also have our own evidence. This idea that NAC never met, NAC never this, come on, we have our own evidence. Okay. And this is not what we are dealing with now. We are dealing with the constitutional matter of the 2022 APC constitution, which we have been accused in being in violation of the national constitution, which we know is wrong. Our constitution, the APC 2022 constitution, has gone through all of the legal processes that are required by law for any constitution to go through. It has been through the PPRC, it has been through the court, it has been gazetted, and it has been the law. Eligibility clauses, by the way, if you go to section 55C of the APC constitution, that is where it started to state eligibility for every office holder in our party, just as the national constitution does for office holders in this country. Certain offices have eligibility requirements, even as per the national constitution. So to state that because the APC party has eligibility requirement for certain office holders, if you start from section 55C, it is clear for how long you must have been in the party to hold a position at NAC level, at ward level, constituency level, district level, regional level. Every political party in this country, has those eligibility criteria. Section 41 is clear. We are responsible to present a candidate that meets the requirement stated in Section 41, and we have never presented a presidential candidate that is below 40, that is not a citizen of Sierra Leone. So I don't see where we are contravening the Constitution of Sierra Leone.
At this juncture of the conversation, let me head to Studio 2 and hear from Lucille Momo. I mean, you've heard the discussions this evening. At the risk of prejudicing what would come out eventually from your investigation and deliberations, and put forward your decision you would have to make as a political party regulatory commission. Let me ask this. Where do we stand? Do you see a clear picture where democracy is being bastardized in the 21st century? What do you think the issue is here? Is it a question of constitutional supremacy or the bitterness of an eternal law from a particular political party? Are they conforming with the dictates of modern-day democracy here, Lucille?
Thank you very much. The constitution that is under scrutiny, went through the normal process, as stated in sections 25 of the Political Parties Act 2022, Act number 25 of 2022. It was gazetted, and there are loads of objections. And we spent almost a month looking at the objections therein. And that 56 was something that was dealt with, because the original context of the original text of that particular provision was 5-year continuous membership. But when the objectors came in, It was agreed by the objectors and the party, you know, the interim body at that point in time, that it should be 5 years prior to the time the individual wants to participate or contest for flag bearership of the party, and so on and so forth for other levels in the party. Like City stated, at ward level, you know, it's 1 year. At the next level, which is constituency level, it's 2 years. Going forward, 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years for the ultimate position of flag bearer. Now, our processes are very simple. Tomorrow, we are going to send in a letter to the APC, informing them that we are in receipt of a complaint, a 5-page complaint from Alhaji Samsumana, former Vice President of Sierra Leone, that these are the issues. There are 3 issues in the letter, and there are 5 prayers in the letter also. And at the end of the day, there are annexes, evidence of his payments. The letter, lawyer Denke made mention of, you know, payments and all of this. So we have to photocopy all of these and send to the APC to respond. When the APC respond to the complaint, we'll then send their response to Chief Samsumana. And if he says he's not happy with the response from the party, then we'll bring both sides, you know, to the mediation table. Because it's from what I'm hearing now, it's my word against your word. You know, payments made. It was a surprise to us, you know, that payments were even made. So we are going to look into all of these issues, you know, that Chief brought to us.
Was it to come for this payment to have been made in the first place?
I will not say. Yeah. I will not say, because I don't know the rules and regulations of the APC with regards payment and the mode of payment. That is why we are going to look into all of what Chief says in this letter, and then the response from the party, and then if he's not satisfied with the response, and then we'll bring the 2 parties together and look into all of these issues. The problem here, the fundamental problem here is that the Constitution and the rules and regulations were gazetted by law. And people objected and they agree on it. So there will be a point that we'll get the conversation with the membership of the APC to see how they can mend fences if they can. If they cannot mend fences, and then we'll just use the laws, you know, with evidence given to us to make a decision.
Of course. Let me come back to Sidi. Thank you very much, Lucien. I'm looking at the history now of the APC. Now, recently there was this leaked audio from former, you know, president under the APC annexed by Nkrumah, and the discussions he had with this senior party member within your party, and how Samoa Kamara was, you know, in fact elected into becoming the flag bearer of your party, and the controversies around him generally. The sacking of Samsumana, not only as the vice president, but even from the party, APC. Ahmed Bangura also is on the verge of leaving your party. He made it quite clear at the press conference there that he is now PDP or so. He has left the APC. Doesn't have plans of coming back to the party. There is Alpha Khan, who also graced one of these editions of this my program, who said here that he was grossly disenfranchised by the party. That's why he left. In fact, he stated here that you know, you had gone for your delegates conference and you were about to vote, you know, for a flag bearer, and he saw someone who wasn't supposed to be there, and that was Samoa Kamara, and he was shocked himself, as with the other guys who were in the bus on the same day, and that he made a case that that man was unpicked. Singularity was not democratically done. Now, my question is, with all of these seeming, you know, democratic bastardizations, if you like, do you think the APC still upholds democracy in modern day? These are all life problems in themselves.
In the first place, I will not discuss the discussions of former President Nkrumah in the audio. I will not do that. Secondly, let us not forget that we were taken to court in 2020 for Section 35C1. That the crux of the matter of the NRM case was on Section 35. So I need not discuss what happened prior to us having our new constitution. We were taken to court. We spent 3 years in court, and we have a democratic constitution which took us into the 2023 elections. Now, did we violate any part of that constitution? No. Did we follow the democratic tenets of how internal parties are supposed to go about their democracies? Yes, we did. And that is why we made rules as required by us, by the laws of this country. We had the PPRC and other elections of observation networks that monitored our entire elections process from ward level all the way to the National Delegates Conference. And we are yet to have anyone from even among the 17 people who contested for the flag bearer of our party, we are yet to have anyone come forward and dispute what happened in that National Delegates Conference. So are we following our internal democracies? Yes. We are here having discussions about someone's eligibility. That is part of our democracy, which is why we are following the procedures. Our constitution says we can make rules. The national constitution says we can make rules. And there are procedures to use when you do those rules. They are now with the PPRC. Discussions will happen, and then thereafter we will start the issues of publishing and other democratic steps that are required of us. So yes, we are a democratic party, and our processes, as far as Section 35 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone is concerned, we are in conformity when it comes to upholding the democratic tenets of our internal operations, and also having our aims and objectives being inconsistent with the 1991 Constitution. As far as who we nominate as our presidential candidate, we are also in conformity with Section 41, because at the end of the day, the APC party will not put forward any candidate as president who does not meet the requirement of Section 41 of the 1991 Constitution.
I said, is it also true that the APC was receiving payments of membership dues from Samsumana while he was suspended?
Absolutely, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If that was the case, you know, why would he pay from 2016 to 20 whatever? Absolutely not. And I have insisted on that. I'm not here to discuss the expulsion of Samsumana. We're here to discuss the violation of our constitution as far as it conforms with the national
You
constitution.
think you'll make a fine flag bearer candidate in any way, Samsumana?
I don't know. The party has...
I mean, you've been with this man for years.
The party has...
What are your impressions about him generally?
The party has criteria.
What are your impressions about him generally?
My impression
as a person.
My impression is the APC has a responsibility to ensure we put forward a candidate as president that qualifies under Section 41 of the National Constitution, but going beyond that, that meets all other requirements, including integrity issues, credibility issues, and all of it. So that is what I am looking forward to, following that democratic process to ensure that the party is able to have that candidate that meets those requirements as stipulated in the Constitution of Sierra Leone.
Alphonsus.
Yeah. The concern I think we have is how the APC as a party will also balance the legibility of Samsumana come 2028. This whole issue of eligibility, whole issue of Samsumana raising concern is his own ambition to have the opportunity for the delegates of the All People's Congress Party to either nominate him as a flag bearer or not, other than a group of people decided to say, we don't want you. That is the one angle. The other side is, we have the interim body that has been coordinating the affairs of the APC at that particular time. Now that Samsumana had paid backlog since 2016 until December 2023, we are talking about 7 years plus. 7 years plus. The membership card issued to him by the party dated July 2023. That is the date it effected. So they receive the membership card in 2025, but it is backdated for July 2023. So which means, by interpretation, his membership into the APC as a full-fledged member, and for him to be eligible to be nominated as a presidential candidate will only be 5 years, which could be in 2029. This is where the contention is. And so, can I be protected,
yes,
please?
please?
And so, if the party receive payment of membership, and when you pay your dues, by interpretation, you are a full-fledged member, your dues or whatsoever. And except if the party will now say that the existence of that interim body at that time, it is illegitimate. It is an illegal body, which means the conduct of whatever affairs at that particular time is illegal. And so therefore, what Samsumana did with that particular interim body is not correct. But if the party, that particular interim body, represents the All People's Congress Party, and Samsumana did pay his dues, and whatever decision at that time, that decision is for and on behalf of the All Congress People's Party at that time. And so therefore, Samsumana has a legitimate concern. So our own concern is, from the human rights perspective, is that why the interim body, so because Mr. Tunis keeps saying that Samsumana knew very well that he was not supposed to pay. So now, I'm coming. When you tell the dog, you also have to tell the bone. Now, the interim body represents APC. Were they aware that they were not supposed to receive the payment, the backlog, or dues from Samsumana? If they are not aware, then Samsumana has no cause to be blamed, because he paid to the party, the body that represents the party at that particular time. So the burden of responsibility lies on the interim body, not Samsumana. They have all authority to have informed him that no, we will not receive your payment until after everything is settled. That is our responsibility. It is not responsibility of Samsumana. I want to maintain my membership, so I can go and pay. When you tell me no, then I have to take the money. So if he was refused and he insisted in paying, then which means we can now say we blame Samsumana for making sure that releasing money that he knows very well that he will not receive the benefit of that payment.
Mr. Denke, I mean, we have a situation where this is the very man who had left, this party, well, say given whatever you like, or expelled, and had formed another party. Someone watching this evening would say, maybe perhaps this man lacks ideological consistency in a way. He was there, he's left, and now wants to come back to the APC.
Firstly, I want to make a few clarifications. He never left. He was wrongfully expelled, of which he has a right to automatic reinstatement. Because you have to look at the illegal conduct of that executive in breaching the very constitution of 1995. So if you are wrongfully removed and you have to be reinstated, it's as of right. And if, even with respect to their own conduct in receiving those payments, we have to be clear with respect to administration of organization, particularly so with a political party as big as the APC. The court, in its wisdom, did not only disband the illegitimate executive at the time, but they also give a clear path to rectify whatever irregularity may have been done to be corrected, and which was subsequently corrected. And his reinstatement and with respect to the payments he made, he did so in good faith. And if he is here now, he himself benefited from that illegitimate executive.
In what way?
With respect to the 2017 and 2022 executive. He was in the executive. And if you have done an illegal act, and now you want to use that very illegal act to punish an innocent man who came before you, dealing with you in good faith, equity, you cannot let somebody benefit from their own crime. now you want to punish him with a clause which is, as far as I am concerned, because the 1991 Constitution is the grown-up. It's supreme, it reigns supreme. Section 41, Section 35(2), and I bring it to 171(15), makes it clear. Any inconsistency with respect to the national constitution, it's going to avoid.
Eventually, Barrister.
No, I think if they have rules and procedures as to what qualifies you to be at a particular level, those are standards which cannot be.
According to the party, it should have served for at least 5 years.
The contention I have is that why was the party silent even at the time when all those periods that gentleman has paid? Automatically, those periods he paid his dues. He is a member of the party. So by interpreting the 5 years, to me, does not make sense. That his 5 years is not based on the membership card they gave to him that dated back July 2023. But they have to also consider at the time when he paid no payment. So the interim body, except the party is going to tell us that interim body was not legitimate. If it is not legitimate, then which means the payment, the dues paid by Samsumana, former vice president, it should be null and void, and it should not be considered as a member at that time. But if that body is a legitimate, it's a legal body representing the party at that time, then Samsumana has a cause, and PPRC has a legitimate issue to raise to discuss on that.
The main topic of this conversation is not only about Samsumana. It is about the supremacy of the Sierra Leone Constitution. The Sierra Leone Constitution grants each and every citizen equal rights with respect to
as against the party's rule. As against the party's rule.
Exactly.
But the party is saying it should have served 5 years, and that's where the problem lies here. Don't you think so?
As far as we are concerned, political parties are primary organizations that prepare, themselves with policies.
Are you saying internal law should be disregarded, Barrister? Is that what you're saying?
Internal rules should be structured in conformity with the Sierra Leone Constitution.
Where exactly?
And the Constitution is instructive with respect to presidential qualifications and member of parliament.
And
if you go to 41,
in what particular area?
Section 41 and 76, it is clear.
Let me ask you
this. If you are making your rules with respect to member of parliament and the presidency, it has to conform.
In what particular area of this APC law you think is ultra-democratic in this discussion?
Well,
which of these areas?
It is discriminatory and unconstitutional.
In which way? Which area?
Firstly,
which area would you point to?
The Constitution did not give you the quality of membership when it says you have to belong to a you have to belong to a political party. It does not say you have to belong to a political party for 5 years or 10 years. It did not say so. No. It says you have to belong to a political party, and APC is a legitimate political party. As long as you are a member and you are a Sierra Leonean and you are qualified to be a member of party.
But the party is now saying the man wasn't a member of the party.
And also in conformity with Section 76, you are qualified.
But the argument the APC is putting up is that the man had left.
No, he did not left.
He was expelled from the party. And he was no longer a member of the party.
And his reinstatement is valid as far as their conduct.
And which date are you counting from? Which date are you counting from?
Which date?
For his reinstatement.
He has been reinstated from the date he left.
Let me just make a quick example. Even for us within the network, the Human Rights Defenders Network, which is open, we have individuals and membership organizations that will come and be part of the network. When it comes in terms of board members to be elected into the board, we also have criteria that you must have been part of this network and have been working on human rights issues for a particular period, not less than 3 years. That is a standard principle, so that somebody, even though everybody has the right to be elected, but somebody will not just come out there tomorrow because that person has support, he has money or whatsoever, without even human rights background, can influence and be elected into that board. That will create problems. So there are rules. I'm not against setting the rules. The fact is that the rules should also, in as much as they have made the rule, the constitution, which is very good, they have adopted it, but they also have to look at the legality. My concern is the legality of the interim body. Except the party is undermining the legality of the interim body, if the interim body was legal, which means from the mere fact that they receive, they accept, they solicit the contribution of Samsumana, by conduct, Samsumana is a member of the All People's Congress Party because he has offered consideration.
Sidi, that's where the problem lies.
No, but
was that particular membership legitimate?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
No, because I just explained this interim body was set up by the court of Sierra Leone. And they had specific...
Shouldn't that make it eligible?
They had specific mandates. Specific mandates. And it was very clear that particular mandate of reinstatement did not fall within their domain. That is why, in fact, I did say he was fined for that particular action. The head, Alfred Peter Conte. The judgments are there. This is what I'm trying to say. That is why I said Chiefs himself should have paid that money because he knew.
Sidi, I mean, we are at a very strategic time of the political calendar. Just a minute, please. In less than 3 years, this country will be voting again for another president. Now, the APC has missed quite a lot in the last few years. A lot of people see you as very discordial, you know, very disjointed within the party. Don't you think, whatever you say, you may say now, but it may paint a picture as if you are still fighting some serious battles within the party?
No, we are not.
Now, is the APC willing to strike a compromise here eventually, saying, okay, you know what? Just to show force of solidarity and perhaps to uphold the tenets of democracy, let's say let's bygones be bygones. Is it possible in this scenario?
Against the provisions of our constitution? It is not. We are a political party. Our responsibility is not to respond to the aspirations or interests of a single individual.
It's not only about Samsumana, but there are other people.
It is, who else?
Who are the Jagabans of today? Is Jagaban eligible?
Nobody has stopped anyone. Nobody has said no one is eligible. The Constitution speaks to that.
By the dictates of your Constitution, is Jagaban eligible?
The Constitution speaks to that. I don't know. The IEMC is responsible when it comes to that. They will have to look at everyone's eligibility and determine those that will proceed to the National Delegates Conference. It is very clear, the constitutional provisions are there. And let me say this, our constitution is also very clear as to how you return or how you get readmitted. So these are all provisions very, very clear in the constitution of the APC. But people want us, people want us, the problem we have is, Chief is back in our party. He's a member of our party. He expressed interest to run under the same constitution that they now say is illegal as flag bearer. He has expressed interest to run under the same constitution
that has to
that
be
they now say
it has to be clarified at that particular
that they now say is illegal. That is one. Secondly, they also what we keep hearing is people, same group, most of them who took us to court in 2020 for violation of our constitution are now telling us to do the same, just to favor a certain set of individuals. And they also now want us as a party to ignore a judgment of the courts of this country, which we cannot do. We don't have the authority as a political party to do those things. We wish we could, but we cannot.
In essence, you're saying, you know, ready to strike
it is not about
a truce eventually. Let me call it a truce.
What I wanted to
there is no truce in democracy.
What I wanted to read to bring, let's assume that the payment was illegal, according to him.
Because he's now saying that that particular body was illegal.
I'm coming.
No, I'm not saying the body was illegal. I'm saying the body was established by the court with specific mandates.
Okay.
And they were not legitimate to have received or reinstate. They are not a legitimate body to reinstate anyone.
The concern I have, for any party that is decent in terms of democracy, they want to maintain principles of responsibility and accountability. The APC also initially, even when they accepted the Samsumana with a cut-off date, they have equally a responsibility to have refunded all those monies as a party that believes in integrity, that want to remove blame from themselves, that we dissociate ourselves of the conduct because they breached the mandate given to them by the court. But as a party, because that money was paid to us as a party under that particular name, we cannot tolerate those payments. We will now refund the payment made from 2016 to 2022 because it was admitted in 2023 July by the card given to him. So the party, in facing their face in terms of the principles of accountability, the rule of law, you know, and integrity, I think the party also has some form of responsibility.
Mr. Denkin, yes.
With respect to the membership of Chief Samsumana during the 2023 elections, it was a provisional member. One thing CDI Atuni should understand, ITGC were appointed by the court, but they were also functioning under the 1995 Constitution. The 1995 Constitution was in force, and that was the document that guides their operations with respect to the administrative role of the Secretariat. Payments were made to the account, and the receipts were tendered to the party, of which they acknowledge receipt of that payment. What more is he saying? And it has been to the knowledge of everyone, including the successive administration. They haven't done nothing about it to say, oh, and they've even received monies in contribution.
Let me hear from...
Just a quick one.
Yes.
I mean, you know, let us be honest in the way we present these things. The ITGC's mandate started in 2022. So how can you receive payment retroactively on behalf of somebody who, during the period that you're receiving this payment for, was a member of another political party, which in itself is against the laws of this country?
It is not.
How can you?
It is not.
So that is
The
why
man was a member of C4C. How can you take payment for somebody for a period when he was a member of another political party?
At this point, I think
There were complications of the
let us be
conduct of the
honest with these
IGT,
things. And you keep making
There is
reference
a
to that.
dilemma here, Lucien, and I think the box stopped with the PPRC here, from what I can see. You know, the argument is becoming heated, and there is no clear way out. Now, the APC, represented by CD tonight, has said that they are not ready to strike any form of truce eventually. It almost seems as though it's going to be a very tough battle for PPRC. Do you think you can handle this?
Well, of course, we've been handling situations graver than this one. I can recall in 2005 when they were in court, you know, for the 1995 Constitution, you know. They struggled in court. We asked them to take the matter from court. They came to the PPRC. We settled them, and they went ahead and won the 2007 elections. I know this is how toxic it always is with political parties. You know, they are on level 3, 4 now, but I believe with time the levels will drop, and then they will see reasons as to how they will work this out. If they cannot, then we can use the evidence that we have to, you know, to come out with a directive to them.
On that note as well, I would like to ask, I mean, what does the PPRC Act say about, you know, party flag bearership and the criteria that chooses them generally, you know?
Well, the Act does not give criteria to political parties with regards, you know, choosing their flag bearers. They get those criteria from their own constitution and their rules and regulations. And these rules and regulations are not just developed by these political parties and left hanging, because 25 of the Political Parties Act 2022, Act number 25 of 2022, clearly, you know, states that whatever, you know, changes or review in those laws should be brought to the PPRC so that it can be gazetted, not only for the membership of the party, but for the membership and the citizens of Sierra Leone to look at those laws, scrutinize those laws, in tandem with the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991, Act number 6 of 1991, and see how they can bring their own input into that. Because I think the drafters of the laws are very clever, you know, not to allow few people to sit in some small corner and draw up rules, you know, that hinges on the lives, you know, of the members of those political parties. That is why we gazette them. Currently, as we speak, the APC reviewed internal rules and regulation is still on gazette until Thursday the 11th, after which whatever objections we have, we'll send to the party for them to respond. And when they respond, we'll send those responses to the objectors to see what they think about the response from the party. If the response are not favorable, we'll call the objectors and the party to a mediation table and see how we can tidy up, you know, whatever objections that comes in.
On that note, does the PPRC have a set guidelines, I mean legal guidelines, as to how they, you know, settle disputes among political parties?
Well, it's the normal thing that, you know, last the complaint is with us now. We have to send the complaint to the executive of the party and ask for their response. That's the right thing to do, you know. In our local parlance, you know, go let somebody complain, you know, go meet the party for action and say, they don't let you complain or lawyer from you. So we normally send, you know, those complaints to the party for their response, and their response are always sent to the complainant. And if the response is not it's not comfortable for the complainant, and then we'll bring them to the table and look, and then we'll look into their laws. But normally what we do, there might be an instance wherein we'll ask them to go and sit as a political party and come up with suggestions as to the way forward, how they want it. If they are unable to settle, and then we will settle them using their own laws.
CD, let me come back to you. Now, this case is not just about Samsumana, Chief. It's not just about, you know, Jagaban or whosoever may emerge later on or in the soonest future. It's about exposing, you know, risking exposing, you know, cracks within the APC and, you know, showing internal divisions generally. Let's say, for example, peradventure, the PPRC rules against the APC. Would the APC accept that particular decision?
Of course, if they do, yes. It is part of the laws. We did not establish ourselves. It is the constitution of this country that established the APC as a political party. Okay. And we are bound by the regulations of the PPRC Act as powers given to them by the Constitution of Sierra Leone. And that is why I have insisted here that we know we are in no violation of the Constitution of this country, neither are we in violation of our own Constitution in dealing with any of our internal democratic practices or even the external democratic practices. We are a political party. Our responsibilities are given to us by the Constitution of the APC that bind all of us who are members of the APC to respect the provisions of our Constitution. This Constitution has gone through the processes, the legal processes it is supposed to go through. That is why when it went to court and all of the powers even given to the interim body, the court was deliberate. It established the interim body and it supervised the interim body. That interim body was given specific mandates because the court knew they were not the elected officials of the membership of the party. The court knew that. That is why it was given specific mandates that which did not take away the mandate of the membership of the party, the organs of the party. Our constitution was still in existence then. That is why also the mandate to readmit someone was not given to that body by the court. It was still in the hands of the National Delegates Conference. That is why, in the end, the court ordered the party to go back to the National Delegate Conference and deal with that matter, which was done. by the party. So I see nowhere whatsoever that we violated anybody's rights or we violated the Constitution of Sierra Leone or even went against the court orders of this country.
I'm happy you've agreed that if at all, indeed, eventually the PPRC ruled in favor of Alhaji, you would accept as a party, generally. But the question I'd like to ask now is this. Moving forward into the convention, you know, the APC will be holding soon. I mean, you've generally removed the selection clause, which is quite democratic, you know, in picture, in black and white. How democratic do you think these elections would be? Even before the elections, you've started, you know, exposing signs of fragility and division within the party.
We are not. You have over 20 people that have expressed interest to run for the flag bearership of the party under this same constitution.
Close to a dozen.
You know, more than 20 people. How many of them are complaining? So the question is, will Samsumana accept if the PPRC rules against him? Will he?
Will he accept?
Firstly, I want to draw your attention with respect to the point he raised that the ITGC, we are mandated to do specific things. The ITGC did not operate in a vacuum. They operate under the 1995 Constitution. And with respect to everything that is done under that Constitution is valid.
Did its job also include reinstating people, ex-members of the party?
Article 82A of the 2022 Constitution reads as follows.
I was being specific, asking about the ITGC.
Subject to the provision of this Constitution, the National Advisory Council, the National Executive Council, and all other organs of the party established under the repealed Constitution shall continue as if they were established under this Constitution, and all things done under the repealed Constitution shall be deemed to have been done under the Constitution. Under this Constitution. So it validates everything that is done,
including reinstating ex-members of the party,
with exception to the court order.
But the question is
that declare the 2017 and 2020
did their work include
executive to be illegitimate.
So did its work include reinstating people who had been exed from the party?
It is
absolutely. In the 1995 Constitution, only make provision for reinstatement.
Mr. Agbani, please, before Mr. Agbani comes.
And we have to distinguish between reinstatement and readmission.
Comrade Denke here is a lawyer. ITGC was not created by the 1995 Constitution. ITGC was created by the courts of Sierra Leone with specific mandates. They were not created by the APC Constitution of 1995. They were created, I have repeated myself, they were created by the courts of Sierra Leone with specific mandates. That is why when the chairman went out of that mandate by receiving money that he ought not to have received and by attempting to reinstate somebody he did not have the authority to reinstate, he was fined by the court. He was found culpable and fined by the very court because it violated the very mandates that the court
did. Established that now. I hope you're taking notes.
Specifically declared reinstatement to be illegitimate.
Of course.
What we are missing.
Of course.
What we are missing.
Please, gentlemen, please.
The issue of legitimacy, the issue of having the rights. These are all, I don't think we should be arguing on this. Now, the APC as a party is an institution. And as an institution, they have responsibility to own up. Even though the IGT, the interim governing body, was established by the courts, it was accepted by the APC. That body was representing the All People's Congress Party as a body. Except otherwise, the party is now suggesting that at the time when the court established that particular body, they were not representing the All People's Congress Party. Then which means that's a different thing that will bring an argument. Now, what I want to know is that what informed the APC as a party to give Samsumana the membership card with a cut-off date of 2023, June 2023, July 2023, because the letter, the membership card was given to him in June 2025, that's this year. But the membership card cut-off date was July 2023. Now, what informed the party, even though the party is fully aware that this gentleman had paid money, and that this money, this group that received that money, that person has been fined, what has the party done between that period to date, even before at the time issuing the card to Samsumana, his membership card? What has the party done to put themselves in a clear position with regards to that particular payment he did at that particular time? That is what is missing. The party has a responsibility to have come out with a statement.
Would you like to respond to that?
I think I've explained that repeatedly. The body that is responsible to reinstate anyone who left the party is the National Delegates Conference, and that was done in 2023, which is why his membership is dated back to 2023. Now, even where the Delegates Conference has taken that decision, you also have the responsibility as a member or as somebody who wants to come back to go through the reapplication process, which is applying, filling your forms and all of. So if he completed all of those processes at that time, that is why his membership will go back to that period of 2023. Right. That is as simple as that. That is the explanation I have to give.
Let me now hear from my chief producer, Emmanuel Yakimemo, who's here to just screen through the messages we've received on our various social media platform, particularly on Facebook. Good evening, Emmanuel, and welcome.
Good evening, Victor Jones. A lot of text messages here, but let's just run down the messages for tonight. Congo Support says the statement by the APC was not in charge during the ITGC period is misleading and legally inaccurate. The ITGC was the court's appointed lawful authority acting on behalf of the APC. Therefore, any payment accepted by the ITGC was accepted by the APC itself. And Christopher Masakwe says, let's be honest, if a member who had even gone to another party, like the C4C, came back and paid backlog dues directed into the APC account, and the party accepted such money, why would the party do that? It means the APC accepted his membership by conduct or in practice. And Daniel Tambakabu says Samsumana is not qualified to contest for any position in the APC as of now. And my question is, where we are C4C and Samsumana in the 2023 general elections? And Congo Support again says APC violated section 35(2) of the Act number 6 of the 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone, which requires that the internal organization of political parties must conform to democratic principles. Sheikh Abubakar Sankor says Zach is too heavy for the APC. Where is the APC lawyer? Usman Prince Sulaiman says the justice sector is not doing well in Sierra Leone. The APC problem is not about constitution, but betrayal issues. Santigi Conte says Samsumana is agent of SLPP, but he is not going to succeed. We are ready for Samsumana. Anthony MS Kosamba says APC will fight with everything they have to ensure someone that is not from the northern area represents the APC to that higher authority of the party. The last we can take for tonight is from Idris Ba. He says, how can you buy a cow for voice or picture? Why should he pay without having his membership card for the party? Let my people go. Let him wait for the next elections since he's not qualified for this one. Leave the party in peace. Victor Jones.
Emmanuel, let me start with you, Denke. You've listened to the messages. Do you care to respond?
Well, with respect to the question regarding section 35(2), I'm in agreement with that provision that the party as is in violation with respect to that provision, subject to Article 56B, which I think it's discriminatory in its in the text itself, and also undemocratic. With respect to the other questions regarding Samsumana is an agent. Samsumana is a second-generation APC. Is what we refer to in Creole as Patrick. Samsumana, the day he was born, his father was in detention for the ideology of this party. Samsumana, after 1992, when APC was ousted, Samsumana was on the ticket, and he contributed greatly to bring back APC into governance. And also, same for 2022. So if he was wrongfully removed, and it is not of his own volition that he left the party. And it is the right for all Sierra Leoneans to associate with, the freedom of association is a right that is granted by the Constitution. And if he is back in his party, he is back wholeheartedly, he is ready to contribute and ensure a fair democratic process is prevail within the structure of the party. Right. And he is not saying that by hook or by force for him to be selected as flag bearer. He is just asking for a level playing field. A right granted by the Constitution as he is qualified pursuant to Section 41 and 76 of the Constitution. He should be granted a right if he chooses to put himself forward for the flag bearership. If he lost, he will gracefully support whoever emerges as the flag bearer. I see no reason why they should continue to create impediments or make the party look to be of character of, exhibiting undemocratic practices.
Fonsos?
Yeah, my take here, maybe from the comments, it's what my concern is in terms of receipt of payment. If the argument is that the interim body was illegal, the money paid at that time, the party hold that money in constructive trust for Samsumana, which means the party has the responsibility to pay back Samsumana all those money that he has paid. If they are saying the interim body does not have the mandate at that time to reinstate people, the party, if it's a party that is built upon the rule of law, justice and accountability, the APC as a party needs to own up to demonstrate that as an institution, because this is an organization. And so if a body receives money that they are not comfortable with, the party has all responsibility to ensure that those monies are returned to the rightful owner. If they continue, which means they hold that money in constructive trust on behalf of Samsumana. And if they continue to use the money, that's another case. That Samsumana, they will also investigate as to whether the money it was also used even at this current time. So if it's being used, it justifies the fact that APC has accepted the membership of Samsumana by way of conduct. And the man offered consideration by making the payment. And the payment was accepted. There's already the contract between Samsumana and the party. So if the party now are suggesting that at that time, that committee or that body does not have the mandate, which means the party now, for failing to rectify that particular misconduct, which means they are in compliance with the conduct of that particular committee at that time. So which means by implication, the party itself have accepted the membership of Samsumana since at the time when they have officially taken over the party, they failed to dissociate themselves or to issue a statement to correct the anomalies of the conduct of that particular party. So the mere fact that there is no statement, there is no position, there is no reform, it indicates that by conduct, the party has accepted the membership of Samsumana.
Let me ask this before I hear from Sidi. I haven't listened to all sides this evening, Alphonsus, as a civil society, instrument in this country. Do you think this is a problem of shrinking democracy within political parties, not least to the APC, a picture of supreme cabalism, or a conflict with eternal laws?
Well, it's both. Because if the APC want to maintain the principles of democracy, and if they strongly believe that they trust delegates, the issue of Samsumana should not become an issue. They will just leave it, go to the delegate, let the delegate do their nomination. But if you start, you have already received money, and now you are saying that that money was illegally paid. It was not have to be paid, and they have accepted it, and you still use that money, and now you issue a card to that gentleman, backdating it to July, because the delegate conference, there has been a national delegate conference that have confirmed his membership. The delegate conference also discussed the issue of the payment, which they are fully aware of. If they fail to put that on table, which means they have deceived the people of this country. They deceive themselves, then they deceive Samsumana. Because it should be part of their discussion. If the payment is illegal, they were supposed to discuss that at the delegate conference. That should we consider the payment made by this gentleman since 2016 to 2025? They should discuss that, say no, return the money. If they fail to, and it's not part of the agenda, it suggests that the party has already accepted, and Samsumana is a member. So therefore, if they continue that way, they are creating a scenario where few people within the party that are more stronger will dictate the terms as to who should become their flag bearer. And that is not good for democracy. And that's not good for a party that we know that have stand the test of time, and these two political parties. That's why we keep saying, if this country should continue to go bad, it is the responsibility of APC and SAPP. They have misled and they have done some dangerous things in this country that is not good for the people of this country and for generations to come.
I think it is a misrepresentation to even state that few people determine who becomes the flag bearer of our party. We have a constitution that is very clear. I have taken my time to go through the provisions as to how people are elected and how we reach the conclusion, and who has the power as per constitution to elect national officers as well as the presidential candidate. It is the constitution that dictates that, and the constitution is binding on every member of the APC. It is not few people. It is good for people to have discussions when they have full knowledge of what obtains in our political parties. I'm sure Mr. Gbani has never spoken to anyone in the APC on these matters that he's talking about here. The fact of the matter is, the Constitution of Sierra Leone is very clear. You cannot belong to two political parties. I see emphasis of payments being made. You know, as far as I am concerned, that could even be regarded as fraudulent payment, because it is very clear in the Constitution of Sierra Leone, you cannot belong to two political parties. And now you go make payment for a period when you knew very well that you were a member of another party, to a point that you even became presidential candidate of that party during that period. What does that say? I mean, let us be frank how we discuss these things here. You know, and like I stated, I have repeated myself. The court established ITGC. I have stated the reasons why. And the court gave specific mandates. Those mandates were violated and they were fined. Whether the issue has come to our notice or not, that is not the point here. That is one aspect of it. And secondly, somebody sent a text about, oh, as long as you are not from the north. No, it has nothing to do with that. When you are eligible under the constitution of the APC, you are allowed to run for whatever office it is. In 2022, we had 3 people from the Southeast who ran for flag bearer of the APC. As I speak now, Jagaban is running on Southeastern ticket. Omregoli is running on a Southeastern ticket. As Southeasterners, no one has stopped them. They are eligible, they will run, you know, as per the provisions of the constitution of this country. So nobody is being suppressed or harassed. If I decide to run for flag bearer of the APC today, and I'm qualified under the constitution of the APC or eligible under the constitution of the APC, I will run. Nobody will stop me because I am from the southeast. So let us bear that in mind. The fact of the matter is here, we insist our constitution is a legal document, working document binding on all members of the APC. It has gone through all of the legal processes. It has been gazetted and accepted, you know, by the courts of this country. It has gone through the PPRC processes. It has been challenged. It has been defended. There is nowhere in this constitution wherein we violate the national constitution. People talk about restrictive clauses. The national constitution is restrictive. We are all Sierra Leoneans, but the constitution is saying you have to be 40 years before you can run for president. That is restrictive. The constitution is saying you have to be a citizen of Sierra Leone and no other country for you to run for president. You have to be qualified to be elected a member of parliament. These are all eligibility clauses stated in the constitution of Sierra Leone for you to hold certain positions in this country. And we have not violated any of that in our constitution as far as they relate to section 41 of the national constitution.
Let me finish up with Lucien. Lucien, you've listened to the argument tonight. Perhaps at this point we should, you know, discuss timelines, you know, against when we shall be hearing from the PPRC on this very matter. And how do you think this particular case would injure, you know, or if you like, relieve the APC?
Well, as I said earlier, we are going to forward the letter of complaints to the National Executive of the All People's Congress, and then there will be a timeline for them to respond, and then when they respond, we'll ensure that we get both sides together in the shortest possible time, because we know they are working against time. There are rules and regulations. The objection dates ends on Thursday, and the lifespan of the executive of the party ends in February. And we all know that they are running out of time to ensure that they go into their lower level elections. But with regards the complaints before us, that complaint will be forwarded to the Secretariat of the APC tomorrow.
Do you see a clear way out of this?
Yes, there will be a clear way. For us at the PPRC, we are not pessimists. We are optimistic that they'll find a way. They are brothers, you know. They all became members of the party because they believe in the ideology of the party, and I believe if they believe in the ideology of the party, they'll find a way out of it.
All right. Thank you very much, Lucy.
You're welcome.
Briefly, Barrister, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to add, with respect to the 2023 elections, we all know Paul Pajero was the running mate to Musa Tarawali at the CDP. There is no evidence of his resignation from that party, but he was allowed to contest in 2023. You know, and if we are talking about political power, political parties, and the supremacy of the constitution, political power, you know, players who are controlling these parties sometimes interpret laws to suit their political decisions, whilst the political party is an organization that ought to be democratic in conformity with the Constitution of Sierra Leone, which is the ground norm.
Okay.
And so the supremacy of it is not a matter of debate. It is a matter of law and fact.
Right. Well, we'll end today's edition of AYV on Sunday here. On the panel this evening were Alphonsus Gbani, Executive Secretary of the Human Rights Defenders Network, Sierra Leone, Sidi Yaya Tunes. He is Publicity Secretary of the main opposition APC party. Barrister Zakaria Danke, representative of Chief Alhaji Samsumana, and also Director of Communications at the political party Regulatory Commission, PPRC. Many thanks indeed to my producers, Emmanuel Nyakimomo and Ransford McLean, Joshua Steady-Bangura and team for the entire graphical productions for this program, and also the technical crew within the TX studio led by Sylvanus Thorpe. Also, we would like to thank very much indeed Chicken Town as one of our sponsors of this program. Now, in case you missed part of this live session this evening, this program will be rebroadcast at 11 a.m. on Tuesday on DSTV, our international channel, on 399. Victor Jones are my names, indeed, and you've been hearing and watching us from the top of Tower Hill on West Street in the heart of Freetown, where our studios are domiciled. Up next tonight is Primetime News. Good night.